Alright, so number 3 is asking you if this is standard form. If you checked the back of the book or if you saw the lesson, they would say yes, but we are keeping the 3 forms that I gave you in the notes. We're keeping those names, okay? So the answer here would be no, because it's vertex form, and the vertex is 2, 3. Again, remember the H comes from here, and the K comes from here. For number 6, they want you to match. I rewrote it so that the X is first. So this tells me that there's a reflection over the X-axis, so the parabola is opening down, and the K value is 3. So that means that it went up 3 units. So the only parabola that has a vertex at 0, 3 opening down is letter D. Okay, so this is the answer for number 6. So for number 9 through 15 that we're doing, they want you to graph the function or graph the equation and compare it to the parent function. Okay, so first off, the negative in front of the x tells you that we're multiplying the y's by -1 because we are reflecting over the x-axis. So we're going to multiply by -1. Only the y's. This doesn't look like a -1, but it's -1. So the x's stay the same and the y's change signs. So x the same, well this one you can't tell, 0, 0, and then the y's change sign. So now we're going to graph. So we have -1, -1, 0, 0, and 1, -1. So compared to the parent function y equals x, whoops, should be a little bit curvier there. The shape is the same. So you would say the shape is the same as y equals x squared. It's just reflected over x-axis. Okay, so this one has an a value of -1, so the negative is going to reflect it over the x-axis. H value of -3, so it's going to move it to the left 3. And K value of -1, so it's going to move it down 1. Okay, so let's take a look and see the H is going to change the x's, so I'm going to subtract 3 from the x's. And then it's going to be -y minus 1. Okay, negative because it's negative, -y because the a is negative, and the -1 because the k is -1. So here, -3 minus 1 is -4. I'll just go down and do the x's. -3 plus 0 is -3, and -3 plus 1 is -2. So those are my x's. My y's I'm going to multiply by -1 and subtract 1. So -1, because it's negative y, right? So -1 minus 1 is -2. 0, -0, there's no, so it's just 0. 0 minus 1 is -1. And then -1 minus 1 is -2. So here are the 3 points that we're going to graph. So for number 12, -4, -2, -3, -1, -2, -2, and just continue the curve. To describe this, we'll say the shape is the same because a is 1, the absolute value of a is 1, so the shape is the same as y equals x squared. It is reflected over x-axis, and then shifted left 3 and down 1. Okay, so for 15, h is 3, so that means that we're going to add 3 to all our x's. Y is not going to change. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 3 plus 0 is 3. and 3 plus 1 is 4. Notice the y did not change. So now we're going to graph. So we plot 2, 1, 3, 0, 4, 1, and connect. So again, to describe this graph, we say the shape is the same because a is still 1, so as in parent function, so the shape is the same as y equals x squared as the parent function. This one is just translated right 3 units. So I sometimes I'll use translated, sometimes I'll use shifted, so whichever one you use is fine. So for number 18 through 30, they want you to find the vertex, describe the graph, find the vertex, and then use a graphing calculator to verify your answer. So first off, I'm going to take this as if it were in vertex form. So right here I would say h is 0, and here k is 8. Okay, so the vertex here, and the reason why I say h is 0 is because there's nothing added or subtracted to the x inside parentheses, being squared, so the x is by itself, so the h is 0, and then the k is 8. So this graph is moving up 8 units. Okay, vertically, it's moving up. So the vertex would be 0, 8. And then you would say same shape as y equals x squared as the parent function. It just got shifted up 8 units. And I'll leave the checking to you. So this is the right answer, but you could just plug it into Desmos or any other graphing calculator to check. For number 21, it's in vertex form. So from here I could see that h is -3 and k is -4. So the vertex is -3, -4. Okay, so the shape is same as y equals x squared. It just got translated 3 units left, and 4 down. Now number 24, I could use a negative b over 2a, but what I notice right off is that this is a square number, and it's 8 squared, and 8 is half of 16. So then I recognize this as g of x equals x plus 8 squared. So when you factor this quadratic, you end up with this. So knowing that, the h is -8 and the k is 0. So the vertex would be -8, 0. So this one is, same shape as y equals x squared, translated or shifted 8 units left. So it'd just be like, here's -8, just be like this. Alright, for 27, I would use the negative b over 2a to find the vertex. So my x coordinate would be -2 over 2 times -1, because a is -1. So this gives you -2 over -2, which is 1. And then to get the y coordinate, replace all the x's with -1, so I put -1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 5. Now remember your order of operations. This means right here, this means that only the 1 is being squared, and then you're multiplying it by negative. Okay, so then this is negative 1 plus 2 plus 5, so it's 7 minus 1, 6. So the vertex is 1, 6. So this is the same shape as y equals x squared, except it's reflected over x-axis. How do I know that? Because a is negative. And then shifted 1 unit right, and 6 up. So it would be something like here at 1, 6, like that. Oops. Like that. Okay, so 30, same thing, I would use the negative b over 2a for my vertex, so x equals negative b, so it's minus a negative 1 over 2 times a, 2 times 2. So that's 1/4. So now I'm going to replace the 1/4, substitute that for x. So I can write it as y equals, or f of 1/4, it's the same thing. I'll just put y equals 2 times 1/4 squared minus 1/4 plus 1. So 1/4 squared, remember, order of operations, you have to square the 1/4 first. So that's 1/16. I put it over 1, right there, the 2, so that's, when I multiply 2 times 1/16, I get 1/8. And then right here, 1 minus 1/4, I can just combine that as 3/4, and just combine those. And so I need a common denominator, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2 over 2. So that gives me 1 plus 6 over 8, so that's 7/8. So the vertex is 1/4, 7/8. So this one is going to be f of x, you could say this parabola, has a vertical stretch by a factor of 2, and then shifted 1/4 unit right and 7/8 unit of a unit up, compared to y equals x squared. Again, so we're comparing this, all of this is in reference to y equals x squared. So for 33 and 36, again, they want you to describe the graph, find the vertex, and the x-intercepts, if it has any. So the way 33 is set up, I can, since the negative is already factored out, I can keep it out and just factor this part. So factors of negative 15 that add up to negative 2 are negative 5 and positive 3. Okay, so I can, this is the same, just factored. It's the same quadratic, just factored. So this tells me the x-intercepts, so I don't have to answer it in the order that they ask, whatever comes first. So the x-intercepts are 5, 0, and negative 3, 0. Okay, so then from here I could find the vertex. The vertex is the average of the p and the q for the x-coordinate. So for the vertex, the x is going to be the average, so 5 plus negative 3 divided by 2, that's the average, because that's the midpoint, halfway between 5 and negative 3 is 1. 2 over 2 is 1. And so now you replace the x with 1, and you could choose either replace it in here or in here, it doesn't matter, you get the same answer. So I'll just put it in the second one, the one that's factored. So for y, I get negative 1 minus 5.